Welcome to the program once more. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. Now we do start this coverage on a rather sad note where 3 people have been killed while 3 others injured after a suspected Al-Shabaab militants attacked a passenger bus at Nyongoro area in Lamu County. Confirming the afternoon attack, Lamu County Commissioner Ebru Macharia said the bus belonging to Mombasa Raha Sacco was heading to Lamu from Mombasa. Now the update: Kenyan soldiers have killed 4 suspected Al-Shabaab fighters and captured 1 after a bus attack in Lamu. Coast Regional Coordinator John Elungata gave this report just hours after ambush in Nyongoro. According to Lamu County Commissioner Ebru Macharia, the militia killed 3 people and injured 3 others at Nyongoro area along Lamu Garsen Road. Macharia said that the security forces have been deployed to the area and are pursuing the militia, and other passengers have been evacuated. The gunmen are said to have opened fire at the bus belonging to Mombasa Raha Sacco before shooting 3 men at close range, killing them on the spot. One of the injured passengers sustained a bullet wound on the arm while the other was shot on the head. The injured victims were taken to Garsen and Witu Dispensary. The bus belonging to Mombasa Raha left Lamu at 7:30 in the morning, heading to Mombasa before being attacked. The other passengers were evacuated. Nyongoro is among the areas listed as terror-prone by security officers in the region. Numerous attacks have taken place in the area, and police believe it is due to the poor state of the road and mobile network in the area. Transport on the road has been halted, and security officers are redirecting all PSV's vehicles back as they carry out investigations. The Nyongoro area has seen numerous attacks in the past, with the terrorists fleeing into Boni Forest after the ambushes. It is under the multi-agency security operation Linda Boni, which smokes militants from their camps in the forest. The operation was launched by then Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Nkaiseri in 2015. We'll do offer our condolences to the families that have lost their loved ones, and this is a developing story, and of course we'll duly inform you in our subsequent bulletins. Now elsewhere, the New Year celebration in Kenya marked the fading away of an 8-week vacation, with schools reopening coming Monday for the 2020 calendar. In their usual last-minute fashion, parents are already flocking bookshops and school uniform outlets in Nairobi and other cities as the demand for items push up prices in more stores. Our reporter Jeff Khaemba with more details on that story.
With only 3 days left for the schools to reopen on Monday, a huge number of parents continue to flock books and uniform centers at least to pick 1 or 2 items for their children. After merrymaking for the last festive season, this is the picture in most of the towns in the country. Parents are in their last-minute rush for shopping ahead of the schools reopening, which comes during hard economic times. Some of the materials they are looking for at the counter include school uniforms, books and the stationery.
Mimi naitwa Jamlek Githaiga Muturi. Ni vibaya sana unakula sikukuu alafu unakuja kuambia mwenzako mimi mtoto wangu hatarudi shule juu sina pesa na unaenda kufurahia sikukuu.
I am a supplier of books from day 1 January to December. That's what I do. Actually, I don't even see the reason of voting because it has not changed me.
Each and every parent accompanied by their children have a story to tell.
This kind of a gimmick, it's like they are trying to do, brainwash Kenyans that, they are start checking all these and all. Yet there are so many problems from the ground and all this.
Mwaka ifuananangi na ile ingine, tunafikiri serikali itaregeza maneno ingine hapa na pale ndio watu wapate pesa.
The least amount of money the parents are parting with is 5,000 Kenyan shillings for a pair of the school uniform.
Yeah, I'm just here to buy books for my kid in school. He's going to boarding. Well, it's sad because I'm seeing the books prices are going high, but one thing I'm seeing is that we are being told to buy books every year. Some of the books I'm buying, I bought them last year, but they are changed, so I have to buy again.
I bought more than 10 textbooks because each subject had 2. It's 7,750. The life is too expensive nowadays, and we have to agree with the situation.
The requirements include mattresses, blankets, bed sheets, covers and other basic essentials. Away from the school uniform, parents also thronged at different book centers. The primary schools are admitting the new learners advancing from the pre-primary level, while the secondary schools will be welcoming those transiting from the primary level.
Yes, I will surprise him, and I'm going to work hard.
What I can say is that we are just managing, although the economy is bad, but since the kid needs to perform, we have to support them as well. I haven't paid, I'm on the queue to pay. I think it's almost 10,000.
I have bought actually and 2 lists. This was done by the school, but then the child has already done another list here, so I'm buying the 2 of them. I'm expecting to spend more than 20,000 on these. I bought other items for about 30,000. I paid the school fees. So you see, in total, I may spend about 200,000 just for one child.
The only problem that I share with Care is about the uchumi. Otherwise, we are going ahead. One single student, you buy him 13 books.
The cost is higher for those whose children will be joining boarding schools. Unlike the textbook that the government buys and supplies to the schools directly at a subsidized cost, the other learning materials can be acquired in the free market. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Jeff Khaimba.
Thank you, Jeff Khaimba, for that story. Now let's head over to Mombasa, where the fate of over 150 security guards employed by Guards Force Security Company in Mombasa hangs in the balance after the contract the firm had entered with the Kenya Ferry Service ended. Kenya Ferry Service has already engaged the services of another company, Ismax Security Services, with effect from 1st January 2020. Anxious workers thronged the security firm's headquarters located in Nyali, where they demanded their December salaries and dues. However, the management with the guard force, Mr. Charles Juma Omondi, told the media that they were yet to finalize the pay slip record for December and will be in effect affecting the salaries by close of business today.
Sasa ile tunataka leo sababu contract imeisha, tulikuwa tunataka tu mshahara yetu ya hii mwezi ya Disemba. Watoto wanafungua shule na hatuna pesa za kulipia.
Tumefanya miaka 4, tulisign contract ya 2 years, tukamaliza tukarenew 2 years, tumemaliza on date 31st juzi. Baada kumaliza hata kukuja mkubwa akatu address, this is the way forward. Kwa hiyo miaka 4 tumefanya, kwa kweli malipo yetu yote yamekuwa duni. Mshahara ni kidogo, kazi ni nyingi, tunalipwa kuchelewa. Tumeng'ang'ana tooth and nail hivyo mpaka tumefika kikomo. Wamekuwa wakitukata NSSF, NHIF, KRA PIN, PSC1 zote wamekuwa wakitukata. Tukiangalia kwa record hakuna kitu.
Hii guard force kulipa tunachelewa. Kwa mwezi tunalipa tarehe 20, mshahara inachelewa. Cloud control wanalipa 14,000, ilikuwa 15,000. Ukikata TNSF, NHIF inakuja 18,200. Hata tujui hii pesa inaenda wapi. NSF hatujawekewa, NHIF hatuwekewi kwa miaka 4. Hata tunataka haki yetu na service tumefanya pale 4 years. Na leo tumemaliza, tumeambiwa hakuna pesa. Juu sasa tusaidie vipi?
And they are going to be paid salary. They are getting their salary. Even if you want to camp here and witness that they are paid. Yeah. These people have not been fired by Guard Force. Yeah? You see, their contract has not been terminated by Guard Force. They are all you can see they are in Guard Force.
Now to a rather interesting story where Kandara Member of Parliament Alice Wahome has sensationally claimed that President Uhuru Kenyatta is solely to blame for the poor state of the economy. Wahome also claimed that a section of politicians, among them ODM leader Raila Amolo Odinga, are cheering the president on while he misleads the country.
The gloves are now off, and the war of the words has now resorted to the bare-knuckle tactics. Alice Wahome, the Kandara Member of Parliament, who is a key ally to the Deputy President William Ruto, has now taken over President Uhuru Kenyatta, whom she accused of taking the countries down with the drain.
I also want to tell Kenyans that the biggest existential threat to Kenya's declining economy and democracy and freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of political affiliation and growth is Uhuru Kenyatta.
She says that besides taking the country to the wrong direction, President Uhuru Kenyatta is a threat to the Kenyans' democracy and freedom of speech.
And therefore, the suggestions that Uhuru Kenyatta, because he's young, is going nowhere, is actually an insult and an abuse to the intelligence of Kenyans.
According to Walise Wahome, President Uhuru Kenyatta cheered on by a section of the politician, among them the ODM leader Raila Odinga, are using the Building Bridges Initiative team as the special purpose vehicle.
Raila Odinga is his new political machinery for hire. And the BBI itself, the BBI process, the BBI report as expected, the BBI is the special purpose vehicle, heading to the route that has been suggested by Murathe, Atwori, and Beth Mugo.
She accused President Uhuru Kenyatta's political allies of echoing the residents' intention post of the 2022 in total disregard for their constitutional provision.
Kwani Uhuru anaenda wapi? Uhuru is going nowhere. Yeah. There are so many alternatives. They can agree, even with the former Prime Minister, for the former Prime Minister to run for the presidency of this country. And if he then comes in with the party, with the majority seats, and if Uhuru is a party leader, he will form that government.
No, I don't think Murathe is dreaming. I don't think Atwori is speaking from nowhere. I don't think Beth Mugo, who is a close relative of Uhuru Kenyatta, is also speaking from nowhere.
Last week, Walise Wahome was blasted by President Uhuru Kenyatta during the burial of the former Nairobi Mayor Charles Rubia, when she claimed that the personal freedoms and the space had started declining under President Uhuru Kenyatta's watch.
Should we allow an executive who has served, a president who has served for 10 years, then be the maiden to actually change the constitution? It is important the fear of the 90s does not clip into this particular era.
Na hakuna mtu ambaye amezuiwa kusema yale anataka kusema, lakini kama kelele ni perere tu na hakuna kitu ambaye inalete, well, hiyo pia ni uhuru.
President Uhuru Kenyatta is now working on a tightrope in his second and final time in office as Kenyans continue to cry about the poor state of the economy. But as they say, as you lay your bed, so you must lie on it. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Jeff Khaemba.
Now, in an ironical move, police were deployed to Wajir County to fire bullets in the air to combat the locust menace in the county that has been for several days destroying crops in the area. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. Police officers were today seen firing in the air to scare away the swarms of locusts that are threatening to wipe out all vegetation in the area. Residents of Wajir County have resorted to other means to deal with the locust menace in the area as they wait for the government's intervention. At the same time, local residents were seen shouting, clapping, whistling and striking metal objects, hoping the destructive pests will fly away. In Mandera County, the government has deployed one helicopter to sprinkle insecticides in a bid to rid the area of the locusts that continue to leave a trail of destruction. The helicopter is expected in Wajir next week, with the most affected areas being Griftu, Gurar and Tarbaj. According to officials in Wajir, the locusts moved around for close to 2 hours before settling 8 to 10 kilometers away from Kutulo town. On December 18th, the Food and Agriculture Organization had warned that locusts will invade countries within the Horn of Africa. Now, from those dramatic scenes in Wajir County, Health Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki has constituted a task force in accordance with a cabinet resolution mandating it to assess Kenya's mental health system, including legal, policy and administrative environment, to identify areas that may benefit from reform for optimal delivery.
President Uhuru Kenyatta ordered the formation of the task force amid rising depression and mental sickness-related murder and suicide cases. According to the notice, the task force, chaired by Dr. Frank Jenga, will kick off its public hearing with sittings on January 13th in Meru. The team will then move to Makueni, Eldoret, Nakuru on January 14th, 15th and 16th respectively. The task force will then move to Kakamega on January 17th, Kisumu on January 20th, Nyeri on January 21st, Garissa on January 22nd, and finally Mombasa on January 23rd, and complete its sittings in Nairobi on January 27th. The task force will then retreat to prepare their findings for onward submission to the Ministry of Health for implementation. In addition, the team is expected to broadly consider the changing societal dynamics and associated threats to mental well-being, such as substance abuse, gambling, sexual and gender-based violence, cyberbullying, child abuse and neglect. The World Health Organization 2014 report ranked Kenya at position 4 in Africa, with 1.9 million people who have the condition. According to the Kenya Mental Health Policy 2015 to 2030, 20 to 25% of outpatients seeking primary health care present symptoms of mental illness. Depression is the most commonest mental illness worldwide. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Kaindo Stefano.
To Garissa County, where over 50 matatu operators were arrested by the National Transport and Safety Authority NTSA in Garissa. Hundreds of commuters were left stranded after traffic police and National Transport and Safety Authority NTSA officers conducted a crackdown on PSV vehicles plying Madogo-Garissa route. The operators of the affected vehicles were arrested and are set to be arraigned to face different charges. Garissa Police Boss Edward Masibo said they will continue with the crackdown until sanity is restored on the roads. Now let's come back to the capital, where the Director of Public Prosecution, that is Nuruddin Haji, has revoked the appointment of more than 300 prosecutors he had seconded in 14 state agencies. The revocations are contained in a Gazette notice dated December 27, 2019.
Most of those who had been affected with the revocation had been attached to labor institutions, where the DPP had assigned 90 prosecutors, followed by the Environmental Management and Citizenship and Immigration agencies, which each had 38 prosecutors. Other public agencies affected by the recall include the National Social Security Fund, which lost 35 prosecutors, National Hospital Insurance Fund, which lost 23 prosecutors, Anti-Counterfeit Agency and Kenya Bureau of Standards had also 20 prosecutors recalled, while sexual offences lost 18 prosecutors. Higher Education Loans Board has lost 13 public prosecutors who had been attached to it, while Tourism and Public Health each will have to forgo the services of 16 and 18 prosecutors respectively. The degazettement comes as the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution is in the process of reassessing the capacity of public prosecutors after some number of state bodies claimed they were using underqualified lawyers to represent them in court. Busara Naman for Ebru TV.
Now to a special feature this evening. Parents and caregivers may choose reusable diapers for many reasons, including concerns about waste, a desire to avoid exposing the infant to the chemicals in some disposable diapers, and beliefs that reusable diapers are better for infants' sensitive skin. Many parents and caregivers also choose cloth diapers because of concerns about sustainability, waste, or the environment. Our reporter Njeri Njogo visited Dandora and brings us this story of making a reusable diaper.
In today's generation, most people prefer using diapers bought from the shops or supermarkets. But today we join Hilda, who is going to show us on how reusable diapers are made from the first step up to the last step. Join me through. Though a lot have changed since the advent of disposable diapers, as not only has work gotten easier, but babies get enough sleep thanks to a dry night. This again has started becoming a nightmare to most of the parents who cannot afford buying the diapers. Meet Hilda, a middle-aged woman who makes reusable diapers in Dandora, Nairobi County.
Mfanyi biashara natengeneza sari za watoto za mkojo. Nilianza miaka 10 iliyopita nikifanya hii kazi. Sababu yenye nilifanya nianze, tulikuwa tunaishi Korokocho na wamama walikuwa wanateseka. Kwa tunafulia watu manguo, tunaacha watoto wetu bila kuanap. Sasa kurudi unakuta ile pesa ulikuwa umetengeneza, mtoto amekuwa mgonjwa, hiyo pesa yote unampeleka nayo usi. Nikakumbuka naweza fanya nini tusaidia watoto. Nikaanza kushona hizi suruali. Nikakumbuka kitambo nikiwa mdogo nilikuwa natengeneza vitu za watoto. Katengeneza suruali nikabalisha mtoto wangu. Ikawa ako sasa, majirani wakaona. Wakaniambia hadi sisi tutengeneze. Nikaanza kuwatengenezea, wengine wanatoka mbali. Wengine anasema kuna mama anajua anatengeneza hizi suruali. Ikawa hata mazingira ikawa nzuri. Ile uchafu ilikuwa, najua kitambo watoto wa kipupu inatupwa tu ovyo ovyo kulingana na mahali tulikuwa naishi. Ikawa sasa hiyo uchafu imerudi chini, ugonjwa imerudi chini. Nikaendelea hadi nikatafuta space kwa barabara Korogocho. Nikaanza kushonea hapo.
She tells us on how and when she started her business.
Saa kuna siku nikutana na kuna mtu alikuja kutoka Somo. Alikuwa anapita tu akaona hizi suruali. Akaniuliza hizi suruali unazitengeneza aje? Nikamwelezea, akaniachia form. Nikajaza hiyo form. After kujaza hiyo form nikamaliza 1 week nikaitwa interview. After interview tena nikamaliza wiki moja nikaitwa huko nianze class. Sasa kuna vitu zenye sikuwa naweza, nikachukua msichana wangu Diana, alikuwa shamaliza shule. Alikuwa ananisaidia kushona, nikamwambia Diana kuna mahali nimeitwa, ndio tunaitwanga vitu mingi na huwa tufaulu, kuja tuende tukajaribu. Sasa tulikuwa natoka Korokocho tunaenda classes Kibira. Tukasoma kwa miezi 3.
Having been in the business for close to 10 years, Hilda says it was difficult for her to access the raw materials.
Hizo vitu kwa hiyo miaka 10 kitambo, nilikuwa naenda Kikomba, natafuta nguo na karatasi nilikuwa natoa kwa kampuni nyingine industrial area. Sasa sikukuwa na uwezo ya kupata hizo vitu zote. Ikawa na save na pesa itoshi. Sasa ikawa watu wanataka na hawezi pata mingi. Sasa tulipopata watu wa Somo wakatuongezea pesa. Wakatununulia zile mashine hatukuwa nazo. Sasa zile vitu nilikuwa nakosa nikapata.
I inquired on whether this was something she was inspired to do ever since her tender age.
Mimi nikiwa mdogo nilikuwa nashona vitu za mtoto na hizi vijiti za kifagio. Sasa nikafikiria tu naweza fanya nini. Na sikukuwa na pesa, hiyo nyakati yote sikukuwa na pesa. Sasa ikawa nafulia watu ndio nikapata pesa, nikajaribu na karatasi. Kitambo kulikuwa na paper bag. Nilijaribu na paper bag. Ndio sasa nikaulizia mali naweza pata hizi zenye natumia. Sasa nikatumia kwa hiyo miaka 10 na nilikuwa natumia nateseka, pengine naenda nakata tu kwa mita. Sikuwa na uwezo ya kuzipata. Lakini sasa saa hii naweza zipata. Sijakuwa na pesa nzuri, lakini Mungu akinisaidia mwaka ujao nitashona mingi kuzaidi hapa. Naweza tengeneza tena zingine zaidi ya hizi, na bado watu wanatoka mbali mbali wakizitaka. Sasa Mungu akinijalia najua itaenda vizuri. Kama sisi wa mama, tusione kazi ni mbaya, tusikae chini. Ile kitu uko nayo kwa kichwa yenye unaweza fanya, tutoke tu tufanye ujui ya kesho. Mimi sikujua kama nitafika hapa.
However, Hilda says that with the new technology, she is able to access her raw materials easily.
Kuna materials za second hand na kuna materials za mpya za duka. Sasa hizo mpya za duka bei zao ziko juu, na hizi za second hand unaweza pata na bei ya chini.
Shemfa says that the job has enabled her support her family as well as her friends.
Imesaidia watu wengi, familia yetu na familia na watu wa nje juu. Tuseme kama hii kazi ndio nimesomesha nao watoto, ni hata huyu mwenye tuko naye mwenye anasaidia kazi, hii kazi ndio nimemsomesha. Bado niko na wajukuu wananitegemea kwa hii kazi. Najua saa hii, maisha ya saa hii, msichana anaweza tu kupata mtoto. Sasa usipomweka karibu itabidi atoe hiyo mimba. Hata yeye mwenyewe anaweza poteza maisha yake. Sasa sikuwatupa, niliwaongelesha tu, nikibaki na watoto nikifanya kazi nikiwasaidia. Na bado nasaidia paka kijiji yetu juu kuna wale bado wako chini, hawajafika kiwango ya unaweza tumia kama hizi diapers zenye unaweza tumia na utupe. Sasa tunaona watu wanasaidika na hizi juu hizi bado utaosha na utumie.
As every business has its advantages and disadvantages, Hilda tells us more about the challenges she faces.
Kama sahi mali tukua tunatoa material, saa Wahindi wanafunga, watu wa Kikomba wanafunga kazi zao juu ya holiday. Sasa unakuta hii mwezi ndio kazi iko na hauna hizo material. Kuna saa zingine kama sahi tuseme mtumba inaweza fungwa, bado naweza rudi chini juu wengi hawawezi afford hizo material mpya. Sasa ukifanya kazi, unafanya kazi kama unafikiria kesho inaweza kuwa ama kesho haiwezi kuwa. Sasa hiyo ndio tunaona saa zingine inaweza tutatiza.
She has, however, urged the county government to support local entrepreneurs, a move that she says will boost the economy.
Hata sasa bado inatusaidia juu kama wameruhusu hizi materials za second hand zinaingia, inasaidia watu wengi juu nakuta mwenye amesoma lakini hajaajiriwa. Sasa anaenda na chukua hizo, akijua kitu anaweza enda chukua hizo material na afanye nayo, atengeneze nayo kitu na auze apate pesa. Ama unaweza zichukua na ufungue nayo duka yako mahali ama kibanda ukae hapo ukiziuza. Sasa unakuta hapo pia tunashukuru serikali yetu, tunaweza jisaidia, hawajatukazia ama hawajazifunga bado.
Hilda confirms that she started her job with only 50 shilling note, which by now has helped her invest in volumes.
Unaona kama saa hii mtu akiniona anaweza ona hii biashara yangu akianza itachukua pesa mingi, lakini sio hivyo. Ile kitu naweza sema, usione ati uko na pesa kidogo. Wewe ile kitu unafikiria unaweza anza, kama Mungu anaweza kujalia upate kitu kidogo kama pesa, anzisha tu hiyo jambo, hiyo kitu yenye unataka kuanza, utaona tu Mungu anakufungulia njia na inakuwa kitu kubwa. Tuseme kama mimi biashara yangu nilianza na 50 bob. Na saa hii hakuna kitu yenye unaweza nunua 50 bob iendelee. Vile nilikuwa naenda kufua, nilikuwa nafulia 50 bob, na sasa hiyo nafua manguo mingi. Hiyo 50 bob nilikuwa naisave. Ndio nikaanza kutafuta hizi makaratasi za paper bag. Nikatoka kwa karatasi za paper bag nikaenda industrial area kupata hizi zilikuwa zinakatwa na mashini zenye zimekuwa reject. Sasa after hapo ndio nikaenda sasa kuchukua River Road kwa Muhindi. Sasa hakuna kitu naweza sema ati hiyo siwezi. Ni wewe mwenyewe kama hujajitolea.
She tells us on how to deal with the competitive environment as well as establishing the market.
Si mbaya kuogopa kuosha, na pia ni hasara kwako juu unakaa kama mwenye anapata pesa anatupa. Na hii bado unaweza save, uone leo nimeweka kitu fulani mahali. Itakusaidia kwa maisha ya baadaye. Lakini sasa tuseme umepiga hesabu kwa 1 week zile umenunua ukitupa, unakutumetumia pesa mingi zenye umetupa. Lakini ukitumia kama hizi unaweza kuta umesave kitu. Sasa hata zile sio mbaya, isipokuwa ni hiyo ya kutumia alafu unatupa, lakini si ati ni mbaya. Sasa hizi si tulipenda hizi juu, kama mimi nilizipenda juu zilikuwa zinafanya nina save ile kidogo niko na juu, sikuwa na uwezo ya kupata mingi hadi nikafika sahi mali nimefika.
Meet Diana, Hilda's daughter, who enrolled into the business 2 years after.
I joined it when I finished my high school. I saw many people in our community using disposable diapers, and they were throwing them carelessly, leading to environmental pollution and causing hygiene hazard. That's why I decided to help my mom to reduce environmental waste.
Diana has urged the government to support youth by giving them funds that they can be able to start up their businesses.
If the government can support us youth with capital that we can start up our own business, it can be great, because nowadays finding a job is not easy thing.
Diana and Hilda gives their advice to young entrepreneurs.
Ninaweza sema kwa wafanyabiashara waheshimu biashara zao na waheshimu hadi customer wao. Kuna wengine wakishabarikiwa ajuangi ni customer ndiye alifanya kafika hapo. Kama unaweza tengeneza kitu na inunuliwi haikusaidii. Kwa hivyo lazima upende customer, umchukue vile amekuja, juu kuna wengine wanakuja tofauti. Na kazi ni kazi, hakunanga kazi mbaya. Na ukiheshimu hiyo yako bado utakaa tu mtu wa maana. Hakuna, Mungu hakubagua mtu. Akili kila mtu ako nazo. Sasa wewe ndio utatumia akili zako vizuri na ufaidike. Naona yangu Mungu akinijalia hii biashara yangu nilikuwa nataka nikuwe na, baada ya miaka 5 nikuwe hata niko na maduka 3 tofauti na Nairobi, na nikuwe na wanafunzi wale naweza wafundisha pia hao wajue, na ikuwe sasa mimi kazi yangu ni kuangalia tu zinaendeleaje.
As a youth, I can tell those people who are seeing me right now that if you have a skill, don't sit on it. Just do what you can do and make a better future.
Having been in the business for close to 10 years now, Diana and her daughter Hilda have urged business people to have confidence in their businesses despite facing challenges from the business environment. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Jiri Njogu.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Kisii Deputy Governor Joash Mangi has called upon Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i to desist from associating with allegedly tainted leaders. Mangi claimed some leaders from the Gusii region were hiding behind the CS to cover their corrupt deals and avoid arrest. Speaking at Milimani area in the outskirts of Kisii town, Mangi urged Matiang'i to instead deal lawfully and decisively with all lawbreakers. Mangi was speaking just days after Kisii and Nyamira governors mobilized a number of MPs and MCAs to allegedly groom the CS for the presidency come 2022.
We've had people, politicians, labeling others. Some hawa hawataki Matiang'i, hawa wanataka Matiang'i. Let me tell you, my brothers and sisters, Matiang'i is our son. Somebody like me is my age mate. We grew up together. What the university? One was in KU, I was at another university. And we were friends. I have no idea which parameter they use to say who likes Matiang'i and who doesn't like Matiang'i. You see, liking Matiang'i is one thing, and supporting for president is another thing. It's not the same thing. As far as I'm concerned, Matiang'i has not declared that it's running for president. He's a civil servant, a very hard-working civil servant. Most powerful man, most powerful minister. And we like him. We like his energy. We encourage him to keep on doing that. But as for presidents, when he will declare and then we will make an assessment. But for me, right now, I'm supporting William Ruto. But when he will declare, then we will assess will assess. What I detest, and I am telling my brother Matiang'i, in non-Satanta, if he wants to be taken serious in the Gusii region, he must stop working with people who are tainted, people who are using Islam to protect themselves, people who are pending cases, in the courts, people who are scared that they might get arrested in time, and they're using it to protect themselves. Let him work with Mwananchi. Let him work with clean people. Let him work with people who will be judged well. At the right time, as I said, the chaff will be removed from the wheat. Then we'll know who we stand with.
Now elsewhere, the price of unga is likely to rise in the next few months as maize farmers warn of acute maize shortage due to reduced production last year and heavy purchases by traders and exporters. Maize prices have already shot up in most parts of the North Rift to about 3,000 Kenya shillings per 90 kg bag, with reports indicating that some traders are buying maize in bulk and exporting to African countries facing shortages.
Kenyans stare at tough times into the new year as the cost of ugali is likely to hike after the Kenya Farmers Association now says there is an acute shortage of maize occasioned by traders buying maize in bulk and exporting to African countries facing shortages. The farmers are said to be enjoying the moment because of the better prices in the open market due to the ongoing heavy purchase by traders and the fact that last year's production dropped by about 10 million bags. This coupled by the fact that there had been no imports of maize last year, plus the low harvest by farmers at fewer than 34 million bags of maize last year, a huge drop from the usual 43 million bags annually, complicates the matter even further. The farmers led by the association director Kip Korir Mejo now wants the Strategic Food Reserve Board headed by Noah Wekesa to ensure that the expected maize imports should be allowed to flood the market. At the moment, NCPB has about 2.5 million bags in the strategic reserves, but is required to have about 5 million bags at any time. This even as the board is yet to open its depots to buy maize despite the looming shortages.
Still on the business front, a deal between Atlas Mara Limited and Equity Group Holdings for Equity to acquire shares and take over operations at Atlas Mara banks in 4 African countries has stalled. Subsequently, the preliminary share swap agreement signed in April for the acquisition last year has expired.
In the agreement, Equity would have acquired shares in the Atlas Mara, a financial services company listed on the London Stock Exchange and owned by Bob Diamond, a former Barclays Bank PLC Chief Executive Officer. Equity is expected to get approximately 252 million new ordinary shares at an equivalent value of approximately 10.7 billion shillings. Details of the deal included a 62% of the share capital of Bank of Rwanda, 100% of the share capital of African Banking Corporation Zambia, 100% of the share capital of African Banking Corporation Tanzania, and 100% of the share capital of African Banking Corporation Mozambique. Atlas Mara will become a shareholder in Equity Group Holdings by owning 6.3% stake. In separate statements, both Atlas Mara and Equity Bank said they were optimistic that negotiation into the deal would continue into the year 2020. As of the date of this announcement, the parties have yet to sign a detailed transaction agreement, while there is no assurance that the potential transaction will be concluded on the terms previously announced. The parties continue to be engaged in discussions with the objective to reach mutually acceptable terms as soon as practicable in early 2020. If the deal with Equity Group goes ahead, the Atlas Mara will be left with operations in Nigeria, Botswana and Zimbabwe after switching out its businesses in Rwanda, Tanzania, Zambia and Mozambique. For Equity Bank, the transaction will help Managing Director James Mwangi's efforts of expanding Equity Group into 15 nations on the continent by 2026 from 6 markets to benefit from rising regional trade and the increased use of digital banking services. Shares in Atlas Mara declined to 3.2% last year, hitting a record low in September after sliding 21% in 2018. Equity Group gained 1.42% to trade at 53.50 on December 31st. The stock gained 38% in 2019. Busara Naman for Ebru TV.
Well, that concludes our bulletin this evening. Thank you for staying with us for the next 1 hour. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. And from this team, we bid you good night.